So, last time we talked about things you need to do in order to start your business. Today we'll be talking about business upkeep, or expenditure, how much it costs to run a business. If we first take a look on a normal family household, try to picture your own while we do this. What are you paying for each month? Rent? Electricity? Sometimes water? Telephone subscription? Internet subscription? TV license, perhaps? Insurances? Food and groceries? Hygiene and healthcare? Beauty and cosmetics? Car fuel? And if you have children, there might also be a few other bills to pay. So how do you cover these expenses? Well, you go to work and exchange your time and effort for money. Is it enough to earn just the right amount to cover the above mentioned expenses? No. Why? Because sometimes things get broken or need to be replaced. Your washing machine might get broken. Your car might need to be turned in for repairs. You might get sick and need to go see a doctor. A dental filling might fall out while chewing on a piece of bread. Coffee money? Well, how about this? Your bathroom pipe might leak, and you decide it would be appropriate to renovate the entire bathroom. All these things cost money, and they can happen when you least expect it. So what you need to do is to have a salary at least double the monthly expenses to have a safety buffer zone. If you don't, you should consider looking into your expenses or ask your boss for a raise. Let's say you are very fortunate, nothing bad happens. What do you do with all your excess salary? Well, you can mainly do three things. Put it somewhere safe.
Don't you have a safe? No, you don't have a safe. Get a safe. Keep it locked up. And until then, keep it on you, like this. Hey, what are you doing? Don't tell anybody about it either.
Invest them.
I own the police.
Or use it to increase your quality of life.
You were the one who wanted me to get these things!
In other words, put it in your bank account. Put it somewhere where it will grow in terms of value. Or make your life a little better by doing something fun, such as buying a new smartphone, television set, going on a fancy restaurant with someone special, spending time with your family in an amusement park, or attend the painting class you've always wanted to go to. Now, if you look at a business, it practically works the same. When you buy a product from a store, you are aware that you, of course, have to pay for the materials contained inside the package. And then you look at the store owner and wonder how much profit he or she makes as the middleman by just handing over the product to you. So, when you buy a product or a service from the middleman, what are you paying for? You're paying for material cost, of course, and time. Time. What is time? Well, in this case, time is local rent, electricity, telephone and telephone exchange subscriptions, company bank accounts, internet subscription, internet domain name, internet web hotel, insurances, payment transaction service, journal, booking, record service and certificate, computer hardware services, equipment maintenance services, environmental management, cleaning company services, accountant, employee salaries, and marketing. These are just general examples, but all these expenses keep ticking away each passing second, regardless of if the business does well or not. So, how do you as a business owner cover these expenses? Well, you have to work and exchange your services for money. Same here. In order for your business to survive, you need an income greater than the expenses. But businesses aren't excluded from unforeseen misfortunes and disasters. Bad things can happen here as well. Equipment might stop working and you're unable to provide your services. And what does that mean? your business stops generating income to cover your expenses. So as in your household economy, you have to double the income over the expenses in order to maintain a safety buffer zone. If you don't, you should attract more customers to generate more income or look into your expenses. If everything's working fine, what do you expend the excess income on? Well, you can use it to improve your business, for example by upgrading equipment, sending employees off to education to increase competence, providing a better work environment, adding new people to the company, just as if you would get a few dollars extra to spare for your household. Now, let's play a little. Let's take this company here and call it manufacturer. For example, a factory. And this one we call retail. It could be a grocery store, clothing store, toy store, electronics shop, a clinic, anything you as a customer would visit to buy a product or a service. Now the manufacturer is busy creating things and sometimes also researching, inventing and improving to come up with new things to stay ahead of competition. That's what they are good at. They don't want to waste precious time going to every single retail owner there is one by one and try to convince them to use or sell their goods. So they talk to this guy and say, "Hey, we need our goods distributed out to the customers. Can you help us?" And he says, "Sure, why not?" So this guy over here creates a business calling wholesale. First he needs a base of operations and perhaps some skilled helpers to go out there and convince retail owners to use products they can acquire from manufacturers. Or retail owners visit them because they know they can always find what they're looking for over here. So they all need to get paid for their time and purchase materials, or they will not be willing to do this kind of business. The wholesale business needs to cover the manufacturer's material cost and time, or the manufacturer will run out of business. Now the wholesale business wants that money back plus extra for their time, which means the price of the product goes up. So the retail business needs to cover the manufacturer's and the wholesale's material cost and time. Now the retail business wants that money back plus extra for their time, which means the price of the product goes up yet again. So this means the consumers need to cover the manufacturers and the wholesales and the retail's material cost and time. And please note we never mentioned shipping costs and customs taxes. And also note that in every one of these time factors, there are other companies who provide services and have the same need to cover their expenses. In other words, the more steps a product has to take, and the more people, salary, involved in each step, in order for the product to reach the consumer, the higher the price will have to become. So if you see two sellers offering the exact same product, but one is more expensive than the other, it doesn't necessarily mean the more expensive one is deliberately trying to make more profit out of you. It could just be that the more expensive seller has great expenditure to cover.
Hey man, you need a cab?
Well, what's wrong with this one?
He ain't got 5 kids to feed.
It's up to you, as a customer, to decide which one you would rather go to. Perhaps one is more convenient for you to reach, or you just have a better feeling with one of them over the other. Sometimes the same product can differ greatly between suppliers in terms of price. I have experienced the very same product from one and the same manufacturer, costing 8 times more with one supplier compared to another.
I got 4 kids to feed. So what happened to number 5?
Ah, shit, man. You got me. I ain't even married. Now put your fucking hands in the air.
So we talked about business costs and what you need to do to stay in business. In short, keep your cost as low as possible, avoid unnecessary expenses, and don't waste money, but spend it whenever you have to. And some helpful tips. Ask a friend who's already in your type of business to help you make a list of expenditures. It will be a lot more than you think. Contact the providers. Ask what their services will cost you. Compare different companies. Also ask friends already in the business which providers they use, their price, functions and satisfaction. Calculate how much you will have left in capital reserves. Expect the worst. For how long will your company survive on your reserves if you had no customers at all? Avoid high startup costs. If your country's tax agency has something called depreciation expense, it might prevent you from taking an amount of salary corresponding to that expense, and as a result forcing you to work harder than if you had spent less money on starting up your company. Next time we'll be talking about efficiency, getting more out of less. See you there! And if you want to stay updated and take a look at what's to come, please visit and explore my website provided below. And share if you like if you share.